Hi, my name is Juan Martinez. I am a data analyst, and in this video, we are going to solve an intermediate level query or an intermediate SQL problem. So we are going to use the SQL scorepractice.com. This is the website where we can practice our SQL skills. After arriving to this website, we need to choose the hospital database because we are going to work with hospital data. We need to choose or click on view all questions, choose medium in the difficulty section, and we need to select the second one. So the second one, it's the one which says all of this information. So I'm going to read it through. It says, show unique first names from the patient's table which only occurs once in the list. For example, if 2 or more people are named John in the first name column, then don't include their name in the output list. If only one person is named Leo, then include them in the output. Okay, we can take a look to the patients table. We have information about patients in a hospital. Also, we can take a look at the hints, the expected output. So the expected output needs to be to look like this. So we have here a first name and some names. Also, if we click again on get hint, we can get some solution keywords. For example, the select statement, group by, having, and count. So these are just suggestions, and it can give us an idea on how to approach this problem. If we click again on get hint, we can get a portion of the solution. Here we have only one line of code, but I just recommend clicking on the get hint if you don't know how to approach this SQL problem, but we are going to solve it together. So first of all, we need to understand the problem. So I'm going to read it again. So it says, show unique first names from the patient's table. Okay, first names. So where is the information about the first names in our table? We can see here that we have a first name column. So we know this already, but we need to show the unique first name. So we know that in order to select the unique first names, we need to use the select statement, and then we need to choose our column. In this case, it's going to be first name, but we want the unique. So we are going to use the distinct clause, and we need to specify from which table. So in this case, we are going to query from the patient's table because this is that's the name of the table. Here we can see. And it says which only occurs once in the list. For example, if 2 or more people are named John in the first name column, then don't include their name in the output list. If only one person is named Leo, then include them in the output. So if we just run this query by clicking on this part, run, or using the keys Control plus Enter, we can get an idea of how we are solving it. But here it says the solution is incorrect. So we can see the names, but although we are just showing the unique names, we need to show only the names which didn't appear twice. Yeah, so if someone, or if in the original table are 2 people with the same name, we shouldn't include that name. So for example, if in the table there are 2 Johns, even though we are selecting the distinct names, here it's gonna show John, like here, like you can see here, But if two people are called John, we need to exclude that name. So we need to only include those names which in the original table didn't repeat or don't have duplicates. So in order to find that, we need to group by first name, and so this is going to also return the unique names. So I can get rid of this, and if I run the query, you can see it's the same. There are no duplicates here. There is Anna, but there are not going to be names twice. So now what we have to do is to use, we need to filter. So when we group by, we filter, instead of using where, we filter by using having. And then we need to count how many times the names are repeated. So I'm going to use having count and then first name inside the parentheses, and I only want to filter those names which appear once only. So I'm going to type equals 1, and so for example, if I change this and I say having count first name equals 2, I can see the names which appears twice in the database. So here 196 names have duplicates. Okay, so there are 2 or more people with those names, or only two people with these names. But if I say equals 1 and I click on run, I can see now those names which don't have duplicates inside the database. So we can see we got the query correct. Also, there is the solution the website suggests, and there is an alternative. Well, this is our solution, and here you can see the alternative, an alternative solution. It's a little bit more complicated, but if you do it this way, you won't have any troubles. So this is everything. This is all for today, and next time we are going to be solving even more SQL queries. Hi, my name is Juan Martinez. I am a data analyst, and in this video we are going to solve together an intermediate level SQL problem. So to begin, we need to enter this website, sqlscorepractice.com, and inside this website we can practice our SQL skills. So after doing this, we need to select the hospital database because we are going to work with hospital data. We need to click on view all questions, select difficulty medium, and then we need to select the third question. So we can see the question says show patient ID and first name from patients where their first name starts and ends with S and is at least 6 characters long. Okay, so I can take a look to the table. We can see here are the columns. So the table is information about, or has information about patients inside a hospital. If we click on get hint, we can get the expected output. So our output should look like this at the end. If I click again on get hint, I can get some solution keywords. So for example, select, where, and like. I can use this. And if I click again on get hint, I can get a portion of the solution. So here I can see, and only do this if you are stuck and you cannot do this by yourself. I encourage you now to pause the video and try it yourself. If you are stuck and don't know how to continue, or if you want to compare your results, you can resume the video and we can do it together. So in order to answer this question, we need to understand the problem. So here it says again, show patient ID and first name from patients where their first name starts and ends with S and is at least 6 characters long. So at the beginning it says show patient ID and first name. So we can start by doing that by using select, and here it's already giving us the name of the columns. So I'm just going to use those. Select patient ID, comma, first name from the patient's table, and also say where. So we need to filter where the first name starts and ends with S. So to do that, we need to select where first name, and now to filter by only the names which start and ends with S, we need to use the like clause. So the like clause is going to allow us to just select those rows which have some information we are going to give, or the same information we give. So for example, inside these single quotes, we can say, for example, like S. So here, if I do this, nothing's going to occur because there are no names, or there are not first names which only have an S. But if I use, for example, underscores, here it's going to show me names which start with S and after that have 1, 2, 3, 4 characters more. So we can see here the first name has an S and 1, 2, 3, and 4 characters more. So in total, 5 characters long. But here it needs to be 6 characters long at least, and also the name needs to end in with S. So these already start with S, but I need something like this one, which also ends with S, but with 6 characters long. So to do that, I need to use a wildcard. The wildcard is going to tell SQL that I want any character, or it represents any character and any longitude of characters, any name or any number of characters. So it doesn't matter what goes after this, like spaces, 10 characters, or no characters at all. It doesn't matter as long as we have the S at the beginning and 1, 2, 3 more characters. So with this we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters long. It could be 6 or more with the wildcard, but it can also be none. So I need to make sure that it's at least 6 characters long. So to do that, I only need to include the S at the end. So in this case, you have 1, okay, from the beginning, from left to right. S is the first character, 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be 1 or 0 or many. And 6. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I just need to include one more. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So it could be at least 6 or more. So if I run this query, we should have the query correct, and exactly we got the query correct. So here is the solution. It's the same as we did it, and here are some alternative solutions, so you can compare it with yours. And if you find this video useful, don't forget to follow me, and I'll see you in the next video. Hi, in this video we are going to solve an intermediate SQL problem. So to do that, we need to head to SQLscorepractice.com. This is the website we are going to be using, and we have to select, or we need to select, the hospital database. After that, we need to click on view all questions, select difficulty medium, and select the fourth problem, or the fourth question. 1, 2, 3. This is the fourth one, and it says show patient ID, first name, last name from patients whose diagnosis is dementia. Primary diagnosis is stored in the admissions table. So we can see that we have two tables: the patients table, which has information about patients inside a hospital, and the admissions table, which I believe has information about the dates and diagnosis of admissions of the patients. So we can take a look at these two tables. So we can see here the patients table, and here we can see the admissions table. So we can see that we have the two dates, the admission date and the discharge date, the diagnosis, the patient ID, attending, and the attending doctor ID. So we can also get some hints. So for example, here we can see the expected output. So the expected output has patient ID, first name, and last name. If we click on get hint again, we can see the solution keywords. For example, select, where, and join. And if we click on get hint again, we can see the solution portion. So it shows us some lines of code, but not everything, just to give us an idea of how to approach and solve this SQL question. So first of all, we need to understand the problem before attempting to write our code. Here it says again, show patient ID, first name, and last name for patients. So we can begin by doing that. Select, and it's giving us already the name of the column, so we don't need to interpret that and find the column here. So it says select patient ID, comma, first name and last name from patients. But then it says whose diagnosis is dementia. So the primary diagnosis here says is stored in the admissions table. So in the admissions table, we can see that there is a diagnosis column. So we need to find those patients who have dementia as their diagnosis. So how are we going to do that? We need to first join the tables. And how are we going to do that? To join the tables, we need a foreign key and a primary key. In the patients table, we can see that the primary key, because it's a golden key, is the patient ID. And so this is the sorry, the primary key. Here we have another key In this case, it's a foreign key. But in the admissions table, we see that patient ID is a foreign key. So to join the two tables, we need a column in common. In this case, both have patient ID as a column, and in the admissions table, the patient ID column is also a foreign key. So in this case, it's pointing to the patient ID in the patients table. So we can use that to connect both tables. So to connect both tables, we need to use join, the join statement, and I need to specify the name of the other table I want to join with. So join admissions. I need to specify on which column we want to join on, and now I need to say patients dot patient ID, because if I don't specify the table, it's going the code will not know or won't know if I'm referring to the patient ID in the admissions table or patient ID in the patients table. Both are called the same. So here I am just making it clear that I want the patient ID from the patients table. Here I'm going to type equals to admissions table dot patient ID. And if we do that, here it says ambiguous column name patient ID. So that's what I have been saying we need to specify. So in this case, here in the select part, I selected the patient ID, but I didn't specify from which table. So here it says from patients table. I need to just say that I want this patient ID from the patient table. And for the first name and last name, we shouldn't have problems because only the patients table have those two columns. We don't have the name, the first name and last name in the admissions table. So after this, I need to also specify and filter where the diagnosis is dementia. So I need to say where diagnosis equals dementia. I close the query, and if I click on run, we should have our correct output. So in this case, you can see the patient ID, first name and last name, and here is the solution, and we can compare it with ours, and here is another solution as well. So you can compare it, and also leave a comment if you also did it with this, or if you came up with this same solution, or if you used another solution to solve it, and share it with us to learn more. So if you find this video useful, don't forget to follow, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, in this video we are going to answer an intermediate SQL question. So to begin with, we need to enter this website, sqlpractice.com, and inside this website we have this environment, and here we're going to perform some SQL queries. So first of all, we need to select the hospital database. After doing that, we click on view all questions, and we need to select difficulty medium, and we are going to select the fifth one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the question states, display every patient's first name. Order the list by the length of each name and then by alphabetically. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this, and I first need to understand the question and the data. So I have a patients table. In here I have information about the patients inside a hospital. And if I click on expected output, I can see what the output should look like at the end. If with this information we can start, so I suggest to you and I encourage you to do it by yourself. If you are not able to do it by yourself, or if you are stuck or cannot continue, we can do it together. If we click on get hint once more, we get solution keywords, for example, the select statement and order by statement. So these are suggestions for you to use. And if we click another time on get hint, we can get a portion of the solution. So here you can see a portion of the SQL code. And yeah, so this gives us an idea of how to approach this question. So let's do it together now. So the question says again, display every patient's first name, and then order the list by the length of each name and then by alphabetically. Okay, so the first thing that is requesting is displaying the patient's first name. So where is that information in the database? In this table, the patient's table, we can find the first name column. So I begin by doing that. Select first name and from the patient's table. If I click on run, I can take a look at the output, but this is not correct. This is not what the website is asking us. They want us also to order the list by the length of each name. Okay, so how are we going to do that? To order, we need to use the order by statement. And so we need to order by the length of each name. So for the length, we use the len, L-E-N statement. And with this, I need to specify the length of what? In this case, of each name. So the length of the first name. Inside parentheses, I close the parentheses, and then it needs to be order in alphabetical order. So if I just run this by clicking on run or control enter, is ordered by the length of the first name. So you can see here you can see names which only contains 2 letters, and if I scroll down, then comes the ones with 3 letters and then 4 letters. If I do this, oh, okay, yeah, 4 letters and so on. But also I need to order not only by length but also in alphabetical order, and order by, oh sorry, I can just use a comma and select in which order I want to order this. So I want to order first by the length of each name and then in alphabetical order. So I'm going to just do this, order by first name in alphabetical order in ascending order. So from the letter A until the letter C. And if I run this, we should have our query correct, and indeed we got it correct. Here it is the solution. So you can see it's pretty similar to ours, and you can compare it. So that's it for now. If you find this useful, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, in this video we are going to answer a SQL intermediate question. So to do that, we need to head to sqlpractice.com. This is the name of the website, sqlpractice.com. Uh, the link you can find it down below. After doing that, we need to select hospital database because we are going to work with hospital data. Then you need to click on view all questions. You need to click on the difficulty medium, and we need to select the sixth one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so the question of the problem says, show the total amount of male patients and the total amount of female patients in the patients table. Display the two results in the same row. Okay, so we can take a look at the table itself. Here is information about patients inside a hospital. And if I just select, or I can query all the table by clicking on this green arrow, and you can see the data inside the table. If we want some hints, we can scroll down and select expected output, so you can see what the output should look like at the end. So we can see that there is a male count, female count, and some numbers. So if I click on get hint again, I can get some solution keywords. So these are the keywords I can use to query. And if I click on get hint again, I can get a solution portion or a portion of the solution. So you can see here some SQL code I can use, but I just recommend doing this if you don't know how to approach or if you are stuck. But try to do it by yourself. You can pause the video and do it by yourself. If you are stuck or you don't know how to continue, we can do it together and you can compare it with yours. Okay, so let's begin. First of all, we need to understand the question. So I'm going to read the question again. Show the total amount of male patients and the total amount of female patients in the female table. Display the two results in the same row. Okay, so to understand the question, I need to split in different sections to approach each aspect or each problem step by step. So for example, here it says show the total amount of male patients. Okay, I can begin by doing that. So to show the total amount of male patients, I do that by doing an count statement. So I will count, select, I'll use the count function, select count everything from the patients table where, and I need to find information about male patients. So I need to find out which patients are males. So how I'm going to find that information. So I can see here that we have a gender column, and you can see only has one character. It can be either M or F. You can see here M for masculine and F for feminine, or M for male and F for female. So I can say where gender equals M. If I run this, I can get a count of the male patients. And if we see the expected output, we see that is the same number. So we are doing it correctly so far, but we are not done yet. But I also need to do the same for female, because also it's requiring us to show the total amount of female patients. So if I run this and instead if I type F instead of M, when gender equals, yeah, if I do that, I can get the female count. So you can see it's the same as the expected output. But here it says display the two results in the same row. So that's the difficult part. So how are we going to do that? to do that, I can do a subquery. So what is a subquery? Is a query inside another query. And to distinguish between a query and a subquery is that the subquery is inside parentheses. So I can use this, and it's going to deliver the same results. So I can just do this. So I'm going to select this subquery from the patients table, and you can see if I run the query, it gives me the same number, the count of females. So you can see 2062, and I can give this a name, an alias, for example, like female count, and I have my female count column. And I can also, I need to do the same for the male count. So I just put a comma, and I'll do the same now outside parentheses, but for males. So I'm going to type count everything from patients where gender equals M. I delete this, and if I give an alias here again as male count, so I'm going to do this so that it is, so you can understand it better. So what I'm doing here, I'm just selecting this. I have this subquery, so this subquery gives me this column, but I'm also selecting another column, and that's also the count of the patients where the gender is masculine. So if I do this and I close the query and I run it, we should have our query correct. So you can see I query, and I requested two columns. One is this one, the female count with this information, and the second one is similar but with the gender M instead of F. And you can see that here is the solution provided by the website, and here are some alternative solutions. So we could have done the same, but as you can see, there are many ways to answer the same question. So if you find this video useful, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, in this video we are going to solve an intermediate level SQL problem. So to begin with, we need to head to this website, sqlpractice.com. So it's like this, sqlpractice.com. So you can find the link in the description below. And after doing this, we need to select the hospital database because we are going to work with hospital data. And then we need to click on view all questions. And here we are going to choose difficulty medium. And we need to find the 6th or 7th one. I don't remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, the 7th one. This is the 7th one. And now we can begin. I'm going to get rid of this. And now I can read the question. So the question says, show first and last name allergies from patients which have allergies to either penicillin or morphine. Show results order ascending by allergies, then by first name, then by last name. So now I can take a look at the table. So we can see we have a patients table with columns like first name, last name, gender, city, etc. So this is information about patients inside the hospital. If I click on expected output, I can get the output that we should get. So you can see the first name column, last name column, and allergies column. If I click on get hit again, I can take a look at the solution keywords suggested by the website. For example, the select statement, where, in, and order by. So this can give me an idea on how to approach this SQL question. If I click again on get hint, I can have a portion of the solution. So here is just a portion of the code. So you can see the code is quite large, but I can see that there could be an order by allergies. Okay, so that can give me an idea on how to solve this problem. So I encourage you to first do it yourself. If you cannot do it by yourself, and if you are stuck or you can't continue, you can always come back, resume the video, and we can do it together step by step. Okay, so let's begin. First, we need to understand the question itself. So I'm going to read the question one more time. It says, show first and last name, allergies, okay, from patients. Okay, so we need first we need to show the first and last name and allergies, like the expected output shows. From patients, from the patients table, which have allergies to either penicillin or morphine. So we need to only show morphine in the allergies column and show the results order ascending by allergies. We need to show by allergies in ascending order. So for example, morphine has to be first because if we order by alphabetical order, the letter M comes first and the letter P comes after. Then by first name, okay, after ordering by allergies by M and then P, morphine and penicillin, we need to order by name. So also in alphabetical order, A, B, C, D, E, etc. So for example, you can see that Brieros comes first, then Christine. So you can see B, C, G, H, G, K, M, N, etc. And then by last name. Okay, after ordering by first name, we need to order by last name. So you can see the same. It comes age, but here, for example, if we have two people with the same name, for example, Abby, we have here two Abby's. The first Abby is the one who has DAX in the name. So DAX comes before, or the letter D comes before the letter N. So these two people are also sorted by last name in alphabetical order. So I think it should be pretty clear now how to approach this problem. So we need to begin by doing select the statement, and we need to select the first name. So you can see that information also already comes in the table, and then here the website is suggesting me to select the first name, last name, and allergies. All of them are columns here which have allergies. Okay, first I need to select the table from patients table, and now I need to filter using the where statement. I need to show there's patients who have or who are allergic to penicillin or morphine. So I need to do where allergies equals penicillin or allergies equals morphine. Then I need to order by using the order by statement to sort the results in ascending order, first by allergy. So I need to order by allergies in ascending order, then first name in ascending order, and lastly by last name in ascending order. So I'm just going to do this. Format the code so that it's clear to read. So okay, let's review what I have done here. Let's just close the query. So I have selected the first name column, the last name column, and the allergies column from the patients table, and I'm filtering by allergies. So I can do this, where the allergies are either penicillin or morphine. It has to be or and not and, because if we do and, we are saying that they need to be allergic to both. But as we have seen on the patients table, only one is shown. So a patient only has one is allergic to only one thing, only one medicine, for example. So that's why we are using or instead of and. So with or, they can be allergic to one or to another. And lastly, we are ordering by the allergies in ascending order. So morphine going to come first. It's going to appear first, and then penicillin, first name, so in alphabetical order, and last name. So if two people have the same name, the one with the last name, it's going to be sorted by that. So if, I don't know, we have Juan and Juan, but one Juan is Juan Smith, and the other Juan Wallace. So the Juan Smith is going to appear first, because Smith comes first in alphabetical order, the letter S, then Wallace, the letter W. So if I run this query, we should get it correct. So as you can see, we got our query correct, and we can see some solutions the website suggested to us. So you can see ours is pretty similar. So if you find this video useful, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, in this video we are going to solve an intermediate level SQL problem. So to do that, we need to head first to sqlpractice.com. So this is the name of the website, sql_practice.com. The link is going to be in the description. And after doing this, we need to select the hospital database. And then you need to click on view all questions and select the 8th one. So we but before that, we need to select the difficulty medium, because there are easy, medium, and hard. We are doing the intermediate ones. So the 8th one is the one which says show patient ID, diagnosis from admissions, find patients admitted multiple times for the same diagnosis. We select that one, and we can start solving this problem. So I'm going to get rid of this, and we can take a look at the admissions table, the table we are going to query. And if we click on the expected output, here you can see the output that we should get. And if we click on get hint again, we can see the solution keywords. So we can use the select statement, group by, having, and count. So with this, you can have an idea on how to approach this problem. And if we click on get hint again, we can see a portion of the code. So you can see you can use group by and having count everything greater than 1. Okay, so that can give you an idea. I suggest to you not clicking on the hints, but after if you have attempted to solve this problem by yourself, so that you can develop your skills, your analytical thinking and problem solving skills. So let's do it together. So first of all, we need to understand the question itself. So I'm going to read the question one more time. It says, show patient ID, diagnosis from admissions. Find patients admitted multiple times for the same diagnosis. Okay, so let's break it down step by step. First, it says that we need to show the patient ID and the diagnosis from the table admissions. So I'm going to begin by doing that. I'm going to select patient ID, comma, the diagnosis. I can see the diagnosis here is a column with the same name, diagnosis from admissions table. Okay, so from admissions, the table has the same name. If I run this by clicking on run here or by using the Ctrl plus Enter keys on the keyboard, I can take a look at the output. You can see that the solution is incorrect. We are not done yet, but we can get an idea of how we are of the steps we are doing. So for example, here I can see the patient ID and the diagnosis, but I need to find the patients admitted multiple times for the same diagnosis. Okay, so we have done we are in the middle of solving this problem, but this is the difficult part. So how are we going to find the patients admitted multiple times? So for example, here we can see that patient ID is admitted two times or twice. But if I take a look at the table itself by clicking on this green arrow alongside the admissions name, I can see, for example, patient number 1 or with ID 1 was admitted twice to the hospital, but it needs to be for the same diagnosis. So this patient ID had one diagnosis of ovarian dermoid cyst, and the second one, it went to the hospital. Diagnosis was ineffective breathing pattern and fluid accumulation. So this person will not appear in our output. So if you take a look at the expected output, only these people have been diagnosed twice with the same diagnosis. So the patient ID entered the hospital once and the diagnosis was pregnancy. Okay, then she came back and the diagnosis was again pregnancy, or the patient ID 320. So we can find, let's see if we can find those people. So 137. Yeah, here is 137. So the first time she went to the hospital was in 2018 and the diagnosis was pregnancy. And 1 year later, or I should say like 10 months later, she came back to the hospital in 2019 and she got the same diagnosis. So we need to show this kind of people who had the same diagnosis twice or 3 or multiple times, but it needs to be at least twice. So to do that, we are going to group by, and we need to group by the patient ID and also by the diagnosis. So this is only going to return the same results as before. it is the same as we have only left this query. It's the same as you can see. Okay, here only inverted the diagnosis, but it's the same result, it's the same output. Okay, but now we can filter by this grouping. And how are we going to do that? By using the having clause. So having, and we need to count where the patients appear twice or more. But also it's going to count where the same diagnosis appeared twice or more. Okay, so we are going to count. So if I only grouped by patient ID and had this count greater than 1, it will only show me, for example, if I delete the diagnosis here and here, it's going to show me the patients who went to the hospital multiple times. And if I include the diagnosis, now it's going to find people who went to the hospital twice or more, and to put it in another way, it's going to show me duplicates patients in the admissions table and also duplicates diagnosis in the same table associated with the same patient. So patient 1 appeared twice or more, and the diagnosis appeared the same diagnosis appeared twice or more. Those rows I want to show in the output at the end. So I'm just going to format this so that it is clear. And if I run this query, we should get the correct answer. So you can see we get the people who are duplicates in the table, and the diagnosis associated with them also duplicated, or which appear multiple times. So as you can see, our solution is similar to the solution provided by the website. And if you have another solution, you can leave it in the comments down below. If you find this video useful, don't forget to follow me. I'll see you in the next one. Hi, and welcome back. My name is Juan Martinez. I am a data analyst, and in this video I'm going to show you how to solve an intermediate level SQL problem. Okay, to solve this problem we need to head to the SQLpractice.com website. So you can see I'm typing it, SQLpractice.com. This link is going to be in the description down below. After that, we need to click on the hospital database. Then we need to click on view all questions and select difficulty medium. So you can see here are 3 levels of difficulty. We need to select the intermediate one, and we are going to select the 9th question, which says show the city and the total number of patients in the city. So here I need to get rid of this. Then I can take a look at the table. So we can see columns for the patients table. So we can see first name, last name, gender, etc. So this is information about patients inside a hospital. If I click on hints, I can take a look at the expected output. So our output should look like this. We have a city column and a num patients column with numbers. And I can get a hint again by clicking on get hint button, and it shows some keywords I can use, for example, select, count, group by, order by, and descending. And if I click on get hint again, I can see a portion of the code. So here I can see that it is using this. But now I suggest to you and I encourage you to solve this problem by yourself. Go to the website and try it yourself. If you cannot do it by your own and you need help, you can always resume the video and we can do it together, or we can compare your results with mine. And okay, so first of all, we need to understand the problem. What is the question trying to telling us? So the question says, show the city and the total number of patients in the city. Order from most to least patients and then by city name ascending. Okay, so we can begin by breaking it down step by step. So first we need to show the city. I'm starting with the select statement. So the city and the total number of patients in the city. So where is the city? Where is information about cities in the table? I can see there is a city column, so I'm going to select that. Select city from patients. So if I run this query, if it's not the correct solution, we are not done yet, but I can see the cities inside the table. And also we need to show the total number of patients in the city. Okay, so how are we going to do that? We can do that by selecting count everything, because we need to count the number of patients. So what is the number of patients? So first of all, I'm going to give an alias to this, count as num patients. So I could count patient ID, because the patient ID, like each unique patient ID refers to each in a unique patient. But I need to count the total number of patients inside this city. So I need to count the total number of patients in the Barrie city, in Hamilton, in Toronto, in Ancaster, and Brantford. So I'm not only counting the total patients in the table, but I need to count by city. I need to divide, or I need to count how many people are from which city. So to do that, I need to do group by, and I need to group by city. And if I do this, I can have the number of patients. Okay, the number, I'm counting the patient ID inside each city. So I can see that Barrie appears, no, sorry. In Bartonville, there are 3 patients. So I can just make sure that I'm doing it correctly by doing select. Okay, I'm going to select everything from patients where city equals, for example, Bartonville. So we should have only 3 results if I run this selection. And indeed, we have only 3 rows of data, 3 results, and 3 patients. The patient number, well, for example, Cash, Elvis, and Andrew are the only 3 patients from the city Bartonville. So I'm getting close to get this, the answer of the question. So I just confirmed that I'm doing it correctly. So in Bartonville, there are only 3 patients, or 3 patients come from this city only. But now I need to order by or from most to least patients. So I need to order by this counting. I need to order by count patient ID. I'm going to close this. And then I need to order by city name in ascending order. So I'm going to order by city, ASC. So now I'm going to format the query so that it is easier to understand and to read. Okay, so let's review what we have done. So we are selecting the city column and we are counting how many patient ID are in the city. So from the patients table, and we are grouping by city because we want to count the number of patient ID inside each city. And we are ordering by this number, so from the least patients to most patients, and by the city in ascending order. So if I run this query, I see that I have something wrong. What is it? Near city syntax error. Let me see. I'm just reformatting everything. If I run the query, it says we have the incorrect solution. Okay, so maybe what I can do, oh sorry, from most to least patients, so I need to count this in descending order because my output showed the least patient, so one patient only in this city and one patient, but the output it gets 1900 patients in this city, and it goes down, the number drops. So that what's have been doing wrong. So now we got the query correct, and as you can see, we got the same as the expected output. And also you can see the solution provided by the website. So if you find this video useful, don't forget to follow, and if you have another solution, leave it in the comments down below. I'll see you in the next one. Hi, in this video we are going to solve an intermediate level SQL question. So let's begin. We need to head to sqlpractice.com. This is the website, and after arriving at the website we need to click on this part and select Hospital DB. Then we need to click View All Questions and select difficulty medium. After that, we need to select the one, I think it's the number 10, which says show first name, last name, and role of every person that is either patient or doctor. We select that, we get rid of this, and we can begin. So we have two tables here, a patients table, which have information about patients in a hospital, and a doctors table with information about doctors in a hospital. If we click on get hint, we can get the expected output. So our output or our query should look like this, and we also have a solution keyword. So these are the suggestions the web page is giving us to solve this problem. If we click again on get hint, we can get a portion of the solution. Okay, but I encourage you to do it by yourself. If you're stuck or if you are unable to continue, you can resume the video and we can do it together. Okay, so let's do it. First, we need to understand the question itself. Here it says show first name, last name, and role of every person that is either patient or doctor. The roles are either patient or doctors. So like it says, we need to show first name, last name, and role of every person. that is either patient or doctor. So first we need to select the first name. So we have a first name in the patient's table and a first name in a doctor's table. So we are going to select first name, comma. Also, it's requiring us to select the last name, and role. So if we look at the at both tables, we don't have a role column, so we need to calculate that ourselves. So in this case, we are going to select this from the patients table. If I run this query, you can see I get the first name and the last name of all patients, but I want also the role of these people. As you can see here in the expected output, there is the first name and last name and also the role. So all of these people in this output have a patient as a role. So how are we going to do that? Okay, we can create a new column and we can give a value to this column. So I'm going to create a role column, and inside this column I'm going to put patient as the value. So every row in this column will have patient as the data inside. So if I do this and I run, you can see I have the first name, the last name, and the role, which is patient. But also, we are not done yet, because we also need to show the first name, last name, and roles or role of the doctors. So I need to do the same, for example, with the doctors table. So I'm going to select first name, last name, and I'm going to give doctor as the row from doctors table. Okay, so now if I run only the second query, this one, you can see I have also the first name, the last name, and the role of all doctors. Okay, so we have done this part, and we have considered that patient has to be the value for the patients and doctor for doctors. But as you can see here in the output, we are showing all the patients, but if we scroll down, we can see that we also get the doctor roles. So we need to get the output, these two queries, into one. How are we going to do that? Okay, we can do that by using the union statement, and this is going to union all, because we want to combine these two tables in vertical order. So for example, as you can see, so we are going to only stack one table on top of another. So for example, the first table we are going to show is this one, and when we get at the last row, then the second table is going to appear. And in order to function, we need to have the same number of columns, and the columns need to have the same name. So as you can see, in both cases we have first name, last name, first name, last name, and role. Okay, and these three columns are in the same order, So the information are just gonna stack one on top of the other. So if I do this and I click on run, we get our query correct. So as you can see, it's pretty similar from the one the website suggests. So that's it. If you find this video useful, don't forget to leave a comment and follow me back. I'll see you soon. Hi and welcome back. In this video we are going to solve an intermediate SQL problem. So let's begin. First we need to go to this webpage, sqlpractice.com. Here we need to select hospital database because we are working with hospital data. Then we click on view all questions. We select difficulty medium and we select the following question. So it has to say, I think it's the number 10. This one, show all allergies ordered by popularity. Remove null values from query. So I'm going to get rid of this. And now I can take a look at the patients table. So here you can see information about patients in a hospital. If I click on the expected output, I can see how the output or the query should look like, the results. And I can see here is a column other allergies and total diagnosis. If I click on get hint again, I can see some solution keywords. For example, I can use the select statement, group by, order by, and null, etc. And if I click on get hint again, I can get a portion of the solution, so you can see just a piece of the code. So with this, we can start. Okay, to begin, we need to understand the problem itself. So this is the first and most important step. So let's read again the question. It says, show all allergies ordered by popularity. Remove null values from query. Okay, so we need to break it down step by step. So first of all, we need to show all allergies. So to do that, I'm going to use the select statement, and allergies, the information about allergies is in the allergies column in the patients table. So I'm going to select allergies from patients. Okay, that's done. Now I need to order by popularity. So I need to order this, order by, and I can say allergies, but that won't work. What I need to do is to, because if I run this, it's getting null for the first results, and later on we can get some other allergies as they appear. Okay, so this is going to order by alphabetical order or in alphabetical order, but I need to order by popularity. So how am I going to do that? So to order by popularity, I need to first get the popularity. What is the allergy, or what is the most popular allergy, and what are the least populars? So to do that, I need to count how many times each allergy appears in the table. And also, in order to do that, I need to count. So I need to count allergies. So I can do that by inserting another column with count. I can count everything. And now, because I'm using the function count, I need to group. So I'm going to group by and allergies. And if I run this query, you can see that now I have all the names of all the queries, sorry, of all the allergies appearing once in the allergies column, and on the right I have a count column which tells me how many times each allergy appeared in the table. So for example, aspirin appeared twice, so it means that the two people are allergic to aspirin. And cats, 3, so that means that 3 people are allergic to cats. Okay, so I need to order by this popularity. So first needs to be the most popular, and then the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, etc. So to do that, I need to order by, and here I can give this count an alias, for example, num allergies, and I can order by this num allergies in descending order. If I run this, okay, you can see that we have the popular ones first. So for example, penicillin, codeine, sulfa. So for example, penicillin or penicillin, I don't know how to pronounce that, appeared more than 1,000 times. Codeine 300 times, and the list goes and it drops. Okay, but then we are not done yet, because it says remove null values from query. So as you can see, the first value to appear is null, so it's a null value. So that means that more than 2,000 people or patients doesn't have allergies, or in this case, in the allergies column, they have a value of null. So how am I going to get rid of this? I can get rid of this by using the group by using having I can do maybe this, having not null. Okay, this is not correct. Okay, maybe what I can do is I can use the where clause or the where statement. So where allergies, this is the easiest I think step to do or approach, where allergies is not null. So I'm going to format this so that it is clear for you people. Okay, so let's recount what we have done. We have selected two columns, allergies, and another column which is a function. In this case it's count, and we are counting everything, and we name this column as num allergies from the patients table, where allergies is not null. So it's going to select all, or filter and select all the allergies except the null, where is a null value. I'm grouping by allergies because I'm doing this count. And lastly, I'm going to order by the number of allergies in descending order. So if I run this, we have our query correct. So here you can see the solution given by the website, and as you can see, it's similar, and here are alternative solutions as well. So if you came up with another solution like the alternative ones, share it in the comments down below. And if you find this video useful, don't forget to follow, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Hi, in this video we are going to solve an intermediate SQL query. So to begin, we need to head to sqlpractice.com. So this is the website. www.sql score or line practice.com. After we arrive to the website, we need to click on this part and select hospital database. Then we need to click on view all questions. We need to click on difficulty and choose medium. Then we need to scroll down until we see the one which says show all patients' first name, last name, and birth date who were born in the 19th decade. Okay, we select that one and we can begin. I'm going to get rid of this and we can take a look at the patients table. And if we click on this green arrow, we can also take a look at the data inside the table, all the columns and some rows. So you can see we have 4,530 rows in this table. And if we click on expected output, we can get the output that we should get after querying this data. So you can see we have a first name column, a last name column, and a birth date column, and 623 results. And if we click on get in again, we can see the solution keywords. For example, select, where, order by, as, sending, and year. So those are some statements we can use in our query if we don't know how to approach it. And if we click on get hit again, we can get a portion of the solution. So here is a line of code, so just to give us an idea on how to solve this problem. But let's do it ourselves and together. First of all, we need to understand the question itself. So I'm going to read the question one more time and let's try to understand it. So it says, show all patients' first name, last name, and birth date who were born in the 1970s decade. Sort the list starting from the earliest birth date. Okay, so let's break it down step by step. First, we need to show all patients' first name. Okay, so I'm going to use the select statement. Select first name, all the patients' last name, and birth date. Okay, this is from the patients table. But now it says, and of patients who were born in the 70s. So I need to filter by using the where statement, where birth date, and as you can see in the birth date column, we have the following information. This is the format. It's the year in 4 characters, the month, and at the end the day. Okay, so it's year, month, and date. And here you can see in the expected output that we have only people who were born in the 1970s. In 1970s, 1971, so in that decade. So I need to filter that, and to do that I need to say where birthday between, I can use this 90 70 and 1979. I can do that, but let's see if it is correct. It won't be correct. I'll tell you why. Because it doesn't respect or follow the format. So in this case, the birth date column is a date column. So I cannot just simply do this. If I want to do this, I need to say where year birth date between 1970 and 1979. And if I run this query, you can see that it's almost correct. We get only people who were born in the 1970, but we are not done yet, because we need to sort the list starting from the earliest birth date. So I need to order by year again, birth date, and starting from the earliest, so in ascending order. So it needs to start from the year 1970, and the last people need to show now 1979, or the latest. So if I just if I do this, and if I close my query and run it, okay, I have an error here. Okay, it's a misspelling. And if I run it again, you can see it's not correct. Let's see why. Okay, so it's not correct. As you can see, the first okay, I know why. Because we are just specifying that it needs to start from the year 1970, but not from the earliest date. It's 1st of January 1970, and as you can see, that doesn't take it into account. For example, here the first one is 1970, and the month it's May, and then June, and then March, and then September. So to fix that, I can just remove the year, and I can run it again, and we got it correct. So as you can see, it's the same as the solution provided by the website. Here are another solutions, and you can compare it with yours. So if you did it by yourself, and if you came up with another solution, write it down in the comments. And if you find this video useful, don't forget to follow me, and keep in tune, or stay in tune to see more videos like this. See ya. Hi, and welcome back. In this video, we are going to solve an intermediate SQL problem. Okay, so let's begin. First, we need to head to sqlpractice.com. This is the website where you can practice your SQL skills. And we need to select the hospital database, as I'm doing here. You need to click on View All Questions, select difficulty medium, and we need to scroll down until we see the question which says we want to display each patient's full name in a single column. I select that one, and we can start solving this problem. So first, I can see that we have the patient's table, information about our table inside our database. This is what we will be working with. I can just also take a look by clicking on this green arrow. I can take a look at the data inside, at the rows. And if I click on expected output, I can see the output that we should get with our query. So you can see there is a new name format, and I believe these are names. Okay, let's find out after we read the question closely. And if I click on get hint again, I have some solution keywords I can use just to give me an idea. And if I click on get hint again, I can also see a portion of the solution. So you can see here just a string of code, or a line of code, also just to give us an idea. But I encourage you, and I suggest, to first try to solve it by yourself or by ourselves. And if we are stuck, we can take a look at the hints just to have an idea. But uh, to develop our problem solving skills, we need to read the question carefully and try to come up with a solution ourselves. Okay, so let's do it together. First, we need to understand the question in order to solve this problem. So I'm going to read it again. We want to display each patient's full name in a single column. Their last name in all upper letters must appear first, then first name in all lowercase letters. Separate the last name and first name with a comma. Order the list by the first name in descending order. Example, Smith, comma, J. Okay, so it seems complex, but let's break it down step by step. So first, we need to understand that they want the full name of the patient in a single column. So inside the patient's table, we have first name and last name. So they want to merge those two together. So that's pretty easy. But then it says their last name needs to be in all upper letters, and it needs to appear first. So instead of selecting, for example, first name and last name, it needs to be the other way around. First, we need to show the last name and then the first name. If I run this query, sorry, I need to select from which table, from patients. Okay, so I have here the last name and the first name, but it says that it needs to be in a single column. So how are we going to do that? To do that, we need to combine those two columns. Okay, for example, Waterfield, we need to combine this one with Donald so that it appears in a single column. And to do that, we can use the concat function. So what this does is that it combines two columns. In this example, are a string. The data type is a string or text. So if I do this, you can see after running the query that we get Waterfield and Donald. So we are combining the last name and the first name. Okay, but we are not done yet because it says that the last name needs to be in all upper letters. So to make it upper letters, I need to use upper, and I need to surround inside parentheses the name of the column. If I run this query, you can see that now the last name, which appears first, is in all upper letter, and then it says the first name needs to be in all lowercase. So I can do the same, lower, and I can close the name of the column in parentheses. And if I run this query, you can see that now the first name appears in lowercase. So for example, I don't know, West is the last name and John is the first name. So West, it's in upper case and John, it's in lowercase. But now it says you need to separate the last name and first name with comma. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Okay, so we are already using the concat function, so we can't combine columns, but we can also combine it with other text or numbers of our own. So for example, I can put here inside single quotes or double quotes. You can use whatever you want, but here only single quotes are available, and I can say comma. And if I run this, you can see that now the last and first names are separated by a comma. And before continuing, I can give an alias to this column so that it's more understandable. So I can say new name. And if I run the query, now the column it's called new name. Okay, and then we need to order the list by the first name in descending order. So that's pretty easy. We need to order by first name in descending order. So if I run this query, you can see that we have done it correctly. And here is the solution provided by the website, and you can see more alternative solutions. So we got everything right: the last name, the comma, the first name, and the sorting. So if you find this video useful, don't forget to follow and leave a comment, and I will see you in the next one. Hi, my name is Juan Martinez. I am a data analyst, and in this video we are going to solve an intermediate level SQL problem. Okay, so let's begin. We need to head to sqlpractice.com. This is the website we will be working with, and then we need to choose hospital database because we will be working with hospital data. We need to click on view all questions. We select difficulty medium, and we scroll down until we see the question which says show the province IDs, sum of height, where the total sum of its patients height is greater than or equal to 7,000. So we select that one, we get rid of this, and we can begin solving this problem. Okay, first of all, we can take a look at the table. Here is the patients table, and we can see many columns like first name, last name, gender, city, etc. This is information about patients inside this database inside in a hospital. And if I click on this green arrow, I can take a look at the rows inside. Also, if I click on expected output, I can see how the output should look like after querying the data. If I click on get hint again, I can see some keywords in SQL that I can use to solve this problem. And if I click on get hint again, I can see a portion of the solution. So you can see a line of code just to get an idea on how to approach and how to solve this problem. So I encourage you to solve it first on your own, and if you are unable to do it, or if you get stuck and you want to do it with me, okay, stick with me and we'll do it together in this tutorial. Okay, so first of all, we need to understand the problem. This is the first and more important step. So again, it says show the province IDs, sum of height, where the total sum of its patients' height is greater than or equal to 7,000. Okay, so let's break it down and do it step by step. So first, it says that we need to show the province IDs. So where is the province IDs in the table? So if I search for it, I can see that I have a column named province ID. So I'm going to use the select statement and select province ID. Then it says I need to show the sum of height. So I will do that, sum, and height, the information about the height. If I take a look here, it is in the height column. It's an integer, it's a number. So I'll use that. And it says where the total sum of its patients. Okay, so now I just need to specify from which table I want to retrieve these two columns. Okay, so then it says where the total sum of its patients' height is greater than or equal to 7,000. Okay, so now I need to say where I need to filter where sum height it's greater or equal than 7,000. Okay, so let's see what happens if I do this. This query will not work. We'll see why in a moment. If I click on run here, it says misuse of aggregate sum. Why is this happening? Okay, this is happening because I'm using a function, aggregate function sum. It's summing the height, but it is an error because if I select province IDs, there are multiple province IDs, but if I sum height, it's going to sum all of the heights. So in one column we will have multiple rows, but in the column named sum height, I will have only one piece of information, only one row, the total sum of all the height of the patients. First, I'm going to give an alias to this. I'm just going to say some height. So to prevent that, I need to get rid of this and I need to group by. Okay, every time I have a function like aggregate function like sum, average, or something like that, I need to group by, and I will group by province ID. If I run this now, you can see that now I have every identification of every province and the sum of their patient's height. But then it says where the total sum of its patient's height is greater than or equal to 7,000. So with where didn't work, and now since we have group by, we need to use having. Okay, this is similar to where, the where statement, but we use this having instead of where when we are grouping. So I will say when group by province ID having some height greater or equal to 7,000. Okay, because as we can see here, there are provinces whose total height it's less than 7,000. For example, here is less than 7,000. This is less, this and this. So I want to show only this province ID with the respective height or the sum of the height, this one and this one. Okay, so only three. So if I close this query and I click on run, we get our query correct. So you can see the solution provided by the website, and as you can see, it's very similar to ours. So if you found another way or another solution to solve this problem, leave it in the comments. And if you find this video useful, don't forget to follow, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, in this video we are going to solve an intermediate SQL problem. Okay, so let's begin. We need to head to sqlpractice.com. This is the website we will be working on. The link is going to be on the description down below, or you can just type sqlpractice.com just like it is here. Then we need to select hospital database and click on view all questions. We need to select on difficulty medium, and we need to scroll down until we see the question which says show the difference between the largest weight and the smallest weight for patients with the last name Maroni. We select that one. We select this and get rid of it, and we can start solving this problem. Okay, so we can take a look at the patients table. So you can see here there is a patients table with columns about with information about patients inside a hospital. If I click on the green arrow, I can see the rows inside and take a look at how the data looks inside. If I click on expected output, I can see the output we should get after querying the data. If I click on get hit again, I can see some solution keywords. So these are suggestions from the website of a statement of SQL clauses or statements to use in this problem, to solve this problem. And if I click on get hit again, I can see a portion of the solution. So you can see a line of code here. So just to give us an idea on how to solve it. So I suggest to you to solve it first on your own, and then we can compare it and do it together. Okay, so let's do it now. First of all, we need to understand the problem. So if I read the problem one more time, it says show the difference between the largest weight and smallest weight for patients with the last name Maroni. So let's break it down. It says show the difference between largest weight and smallest weight. So we need to first find the largest weight. So I'll say select, and to find the largest weight, I need to use max, and information about weight, it's here in the weight column. So inside parentheses, I'll write weight. I'll select the patients table from patients. So if I do this and I run it, I can see the max weight. So you can see the max weight was 142. And if I select the minimum weight, it's 1. So min, it's 1. But and now I need to show the difference between these two weights. As you can see, the difference is 141. If we subtract one from another, if I do this, max weight, minus mean weight from patients is 141. But as you can see, this is the incorrect solution. Why? Because we are not done yet. The question says for patients with the last name Maroni. So as you can see, we need to find the maximum weight and the minimum weight for patients with the last name Maroni. So to do that, I just need to filter using the where statement, where patients, patient's last name. So last name, it's here where last name equals Maroni. So now if I just take a look at the maximum weight, now instead of being 142 is 112 for people with the last name Maroni. And the minimum weight is 41. So now we are going to subtract and show the difference between 112 and 41. So I just write again maximum weight minus minimum weight, and I run the query, and you can see the difference is 71. I could also have done an alias as it is shown here in the solution provided by the website. But if you done the same as I did, we got the query correct. So okay, this is everything for now. I hope you understood the thought process and how to solve this problem. So if you find this video useful, don't forget to follow and leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, and welcome back. In this video, we are going to solve together an intermediate SQL problem. Okay, first of all, we need to head to SQL linepractice.com. This is the website where we can improve our SQL skills and practice. We need to select then the hospital database, and then we need to click on view all questions, select difficulty medium, and we need to scroll down until we see the question which says show all the days of the month and how many admission dates occurred on that day. We select that one. Then I need to select this, erase it, and we can start solving this problem. Okay, so first of all, I can take a look at the table here at table info. The table name is admissions, and if I want to see the data inside, I need to click on this green arrow. So now I can see how the rows look like, the data. So as you can see, it's information about admissions, patients' admissions in a hospital. And now I can take a look at the expected output. So you can see we have two columns, the number and number of admissions, and this is the output we should get with our query. If I get hint again, I can see some keywords I could use or we could use. And if I click on get hint again, I can see a portion of the solution. So you can see some line of codes just to give us an idea. But I suggest to you not to see all the hints. Try first to solve it on your own, by yourself. So in this way, you will enhance your problem solving skills. And if you are stuck or you cannot continue, or if you are unable to solve it, we can do it together. Okay, so let's do it together now. First, we need to understand the problem. So I will read the problem one more time. So it says, show all of the days of the month from 1 to 31 and how many admission dates occurred on that day. Sort by the day with most admissions to least admissions. Okay, so let's break it down and do it step by step. So first it says show all of the days of the month. Okay, so to show all of the days of the month, we are going to use the select statement. And as you can see, to show all of the days of the month, we can use one of these columns, which are dates, for example, admission date and discharge date. But we will use admission dates because that's what is requesting us to use, and how many admission dates occur on that day, and so on. So we'll select admission dates, admission date. But if I just do that, it will show all the information about the date, so the month, the year, and the day. But I just need the days of the month. So to do that, I will use day, and inside parentheses, admission date. Now I will select the table from admissions, and if I run this, you can see that now we get the day of the month for each date. But now it says, and how many admission dates occurred on that day. Okay, first I can give an alias to this as day. Oops, like this. And also we are requested to show how many admission dates occurred on that day. So to do that, I can just count, and I can count everything. and I can give an alias like num days or num admissions. Okay, so for example, we need to see how many admission or how many yeah, how many admissions occurred on the 6th day of the month, for example, or on the 21st, just to see, or on the first day of the month, if there is information, useful information that could say, okay, the last day of the month is where people most often go to the hospital, or in the middle of the month, or at the beginning of the month, or something like that. I think. Okay, so if I do this and I run, you can see that I get this only one row. Why? Because we need to group by. So we need to group by okay, I can give another alias day number, and I can group by that. Group by day. Oops, I cannot type today. Day number. And so now if I do this, I can see how many admissions occurred on each day of the month. So the first day of the month, there were 156 admissions. In the second day of the month, there were 180 admissions, etc. But we are not done yet, because it says sort by the day with most admissions to least admissions. So we need to order by the number of admissions, because as you can see here, it's sorted by the day number. So the first show it's appears first, and 31st appears the last or the least. So instead I need to order by number of admissions. So the biggest number in this column needs to appear first. So I do that in descending order. So if I run this query again, but before that I can format it so that it looks nicer. I click on run and we get the query correct, and as you can see, we get the information as exactly the same as the output, as the expected output. So you can see the solution provided by the website, it's quite similar, and yeah, we got it correct. So if you find this video useful and if you learned something, please leave a comment or subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, in this video we are going to solve an intermediate level SQL problem. Okay, so in this case we need to head to sqlpractice.com. The link is going to be in the description, and then we need to click on hospital DB because we are working with hospital data. Then we need to click on view all questions. We need to select difficulty medium, and we need to scroll down until we see the question which says show all the columns for patient ID 542's most recent admission date. We select that one, we get rid of this, and we can begin solving this problem. So I suggest to you solving it first on your own, give it a try, and if you are stuck or don't know how to approach the problem, or if you want to compare your solution with mine, you can resume the video and we can do it together. Okay, so first of all, I can take a look at the table we will be working with. So this is the admissions table, and if I click on the green arrow, we can see the rows inside. Also, if I click on expected output, I can see how the output should look like at the end of our query. or what the query needs to return. And if I click on get hint again, I can see some keywords I can use to solve this problem or to use inside my query. And if I click on get hint one last time, I can get a solution portion, but as you can see, there is no portion I can see. So we are blinded and we need to figure it out by ourselves. Okay, so let's understand the problem. That's the first and most important step in order to solve this question. So it says show all columns for patient ID 542's most recent admission date. Okay, so let's break it down and do it step by step. So first it says show all columns. Okay, so to show all columns, I just need to select everything from the admissions table. And then it says for patient ID 542, where patient ID equals 542. And then it says most recent admission date. So I just need to, because okay, so if I run this, I can see that there are two admission. This patient went to the hospital. So this patient with the ID 542 went to the hospital twice, one in 2018 and one in 2019. Everyone is for a different diagnosis. It was attended by a different doctor, etc. So it's a different admission, but we only need to show the most recent admission date. So we only need to show this one. How are we going to do that? Okay, maybe we could just say where admission date equals 2019 and everything, but let's imagine that we are not able to see this output. Okay, we don't know what is inside the admissions table. Imagine we can just see this. Okay, we could scroll down manually and find the patient ID, or maybe what if we don't have anything at all? Okay, we don't have anything at all, only with the information at hand. We need to solve this problem. So how are we going to do that? Okay, we need to say we could do two things. First, we could do a subquery, for example, where admission date equals, and then I need to subquery select admission, select max admission date I need to close this in parentheses from admissions. So if I run this query, it's going to show only the maximum admission date. So if I just run this selection, you can see the maximum date, it's this one, 2019. So I can do this. Okay, this is going to show the answer, or I could also do the following. I can do the same as I did here. Maybe it's not necessary to, I can do this now. Or another solution is this. I can order by admission date, and I can limit 1. Okay, so what I'm doing here, okay, I'm ordering by the admission date. I'm going to the first row is going to be the biggest admission date, or the largest. So in this case, this one. The second one is going to be the 2018 one, but I just want to show only one row. So for that I'm using limit 1. So I can do this, or I can do this also. Oh, where patient ID and admission date. Maybe if I do this, and instead I do also this, and if I close this, maybe I can get everything. Okay, so let's see if it is correct. So I will run this query, and it says incorrect solution, where patient ID it says no rows to display. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Admission date, equals select max admission date from admissions. Okay, what am I doing wrong? From admissions. Okay, maybe instead of doing this, I could do the second one. And if I run this, okay, I get the correct answer. Okay, so I don't know why the other solution wasn't correct. As you can see here at the alternative solutions, one alternative solution is exactly the same as I was doing it before. Maybe I had some misspelling or something like that. Oh yeah, maybe because I wasn't using this where patient ID equals 142 in the subquery. Maybe that's why. But as you can see, we did it one way or another. And if you find this video useful, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, in this video we are going to solve an intermediate level SQL problem. So let's begin. In order to practice our SQL skills, we need to head to sqlpractice.com. This is the website we will be using. Then we need to click on Hospital DB, and then click on View All Questions. We need to select difficulty medium, and we need to scroll down until we see the problem which says show patient ID, attending doctor ID, and diagnosis for admissions that match one of the two criteria. We select that one, then we get rid of this, and we can begin solving our SQL problem. Okay, so we can take a look at the table admissions. So we can see here some columns, like example admission date, discharge date, etc. We can see some the expected output. So this is the output our query should return. If we click on get hint again, we can see some solution keywords. So the website suggests us to use select, where, in, len, and like. These are just some of the keywords we can use. And if we click on get hint again, we can see a portion of the solution. So you can see this is showing some lines of code we can use to solve this problem. Okay, so I suggest to you, and I encourage you to do it first on your own, by yourself. Try it, give it a try, and if you are stuck or if you are unable to continue or don't know how to approach this problem, we can do it together, step by step. Okay, so let's do it together. First, we need to understand the problem. So in this case, I'm going to read the problem once more and try to understand it. So it says show patient ID, attending doctor ID, and diagnosis from admissions that match one of the two criteria. Okay, the first criteria is patient ID is an odd number and attending doctor ID is either 1, 5, or 19. The second criteria is attending doctor ID contains a 2 and the length of patient ID is 3 characters. Okay, so seems complicated, but let's break it down. First, it says show patient ID, attending doctor, and diagnosis for admissions. We can begin by doing that. So we are going to use the select statement, and it already give us it is already giving us the name of the column. So you can see patient ID. I have patient ID here. Attending doctor ID. I have the same. So I'm just going to type those. So select patient ID, comma, attending doctor ID, comma, and diagnosis. And I need to select the table from admissions. And now I can begin looking at the two criteria. So the first one, patient ID is an odd number. Okay, so I need to say where patient ID is an odd number. So what is an odd number? Odd number is like 1, 3, 5, 7, etc. But I cannot just type where patient ID equals 1 or 3 or 5 or 7, or because we can write infinite numbers, because the patient ID could be a very large number. So instead, to find odd numbers in SQL, we need to do the following. We need to do this, use the percentage sign, and then 2, and then we need to do this. Okay, so what is going on here? So what I'm saying is that I need to find those numbers which divided by 2 doesn't have a remainder of 0. So for example, if I do this, 4 divided by 2, if I just run this selection, oh sorry, if I say select, okay, if I do this operation, you can see that 4 divided by 2 is 2, okay, and doesn't have a remainder because, or the remainder is 0 because it is a whole number. But instead, if I do 4 divided by 3, it's 1 point something. You know the idea. So this is why 4 it's an even number, because divided by 2, it's divisible by 2, and it gives a whole number. Okay, so instead 5 divided by 2, if I do this, for example, 5.0 divided by 2, it's going to give me 2.5. So the remainder is 0.5. Okay, but 4.0 divided by 2 gives me a whole number, 2, only 2, not 2.1, 2.5, or whatever. So that's what I'm telling the SQL here, to SQL here. So I need you to divide every patient number by 2, okay, and if that the remainder or the remain number, it's not 0, so if it's 0.5 point whatever, so don't give me those patient ID numbers. So in this case, it's going to be the ones, sorry, the it's not, so it's going to be this 2, the 4s, the 6, and so on. Okay, so I need to show only the odd numbers, not the, if I delete this, it's going to show all the even numbers. So if I run this, you can see patient ID 6, 8, 10, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 40. Okay, so you can see I get only even numbers. But if I say it's not equal to 0, I get odd numbers. So you can see patient ID 1, 3, 7, 9, 21, 35, etc. Okay, so we got our first criteria. And okay, but also says it's either 1, 5, or 19. The attending doctor ID. So I need to do that by saying and attending doctor ID in 1, 5, or 19. So the attending doctor ID needs to be either 1, like this one, 19, this one, or 5. So if I run this, you can see that only odd patient ID numbers appear and only attending doctors with ID with an ID number of 19, 1, or 5. Okay, but we are not done yet. We only covered one criteria. But the second criteria says the attending doctor ID contains a 2 and the length of patient ID is 3 characters. Okay, so okay, so we can meet the criteria by saying attending doctor ID contains a 2 inside the ID, so it has a 2 in the number. So I can say like, and I need to place 2 wildcards because I want the number 2 to be in whatever position or in whatever place in the ID, in the number. Okay, and the length of patient ID and the length of patient ID is 3 characters. Okay, so this is the second criteria. So for example, if I do this and I run this part of the query, oops, from admissions. Okay, sorry, I need to say where attending doctor ID like. So if I run this query, I get the second criteria. So the attending doctor ID contains a 2, for example, 22, 21, 2, 25. So there is a 2 in the ID, and the patient ID is 3 characters. So only 3 characters, like 100 and further. So now I need to combine these 2 criteria, and the question says that it needs to match either one of the 2 criteria. So it's either, so it matches either this criteria or this criteria. So to do that, I just need to combine them by using OR, and now I can just close this inside parentheses so that I know that it needs to be either this or this one. And if I run the query and I just format it so that it looks better, we got the query correct. So you can see this is a little bit more complicated query to solve, but at the end we got it correctly and we solved it step by step with the explanation. So if you find this video useful, don't forget to follow back, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, in this video we are going to solve an intermediate level SQL problem. My name is Juan Martinez and I'm a data analyst. So in this tutorial we are going to do it together, solving this problem. And first we need to head to sqlpractice.com. This is the website we are going to use. Then we need to click on Hospital DB, and then we need to click on View All Questions. We need to select difficulty medium, and we need to scroll down until we see the question which says show first name, last name, and the total number of admissions attended for each doctor. Every admission has been attended by a doctor. We select that one. Oops, sorry about that. We get rid of this. And now we can begin solving our SQL problem. Okay, first I can take a look at the tables we need to use. In this case, we have two tables instead of one. The first one is the admissions table. And if we click on this green arrow, we can see the rows, the information inside. And also we have a doctors table. And if we click on the green arrow again, we can see the information inside this table. So you can see this is all information related to hospitals. So on hints, we can see this the expected output. This is the output we should get after making our query or typing our query. And if we click on get hint again, we can see some keywords we can use to solve this problem. And if we click on get hint one more time, we get a portion of the solution. So this is going to show us some lines of SQL code so that we can get an idea on how to solve this problem. But I encourage you to solve it on your own before watching all the hints, and try it first. And if you are stuck, or if you are unable to do it, or if you want to compare your solution with ours, you can resume the video and we can do it together step by step. Okay, so first of all we need to understand the problem. So it says show first name, last name, and the total number of admissions attended for each doctor. Every admission has been attended by a doctor. Okay, so now let's break it down. First it says show first name, last name, and total number of admissions. So we can begin by doing that. Select with select statement, select first name, comma, last name, and total number of admissions attended for each doctor. Okay, so we need to use count, and we need to count everything, right? Later on we are going to group by. So if I just okay, then I need to select from which table. So I'm going to, so first name and last name appear in the doctors table. So I'm going to use from doctors. Okay, but this, if I try to run this query, it won't work. Okay. Well, it will work, but it's not the correct solution because it's only giving us the one name and a count of the rows. I can give an alias to this, but we need to count the total number of admissions attended for each doctor. So the admissions, the information about the admissions is in the admissions table, not in the doctors table. Okay, the doctors table only gives us the doctor ID, the name of the first name of that doctor, the last name of that doctor, and the specialty. That's all. But if we take a look at the admissions table, we can see that here are all the admissions, and we can see that we have an attending doctor ID. So if we take a closer look to the admissions table, we can see that attending doctor ID, it's a foreign key. You can see the silver, or the key here, the silver key. And this attending doctor ID, it's a foreign key. It's referring to the doctor ID in the doctors table. So you can see doctor ID is a primary key in this table. So that means that these two tables are connected via this column. Okay, this foreign key attending doctor ID and doctor ID in the doctor's table. So for example, this doctor attending doctor ID number 21, if we take a look at the doctor's table, it's the same as this one. Okay, Lisa Cudi. So I just need to finish the alias count as num admissions. Okay, so what can I do? I need to connect these two tables. So to do that, we need to join. So I'm going to join the admissions table with the doctors table on the same column, the column that they are have in common. So in this case, the attending doctor ID in the admissions table and the doctor ID in the doctors table. So I'm going to say on admissions dot attending doctor ID equals doctors dot doctor ID. Okay, so if I do this, I can see that now we are counting the number of admissions, but we are not done yet because we need to group by every doctor, first name and last name. And now if I do this and I run the query, we get the query correct. So now as I grouped, we are counting how many times this particular doctor had admissions or had patients in the hospital. So you can see the solution provided by the website. It's pretty similar to ours, and you can see another solution provided by the website, an alternative solution, so you can compare it and see if you did it correctly or similar. So this is it for this problem, and I'll see you in the next one. If you find this video useful, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and if you're watching this as a part of a course, also you can leave a comment. I'll see you in the next one. Hi, in this video we are going to solve an intermediate level SQL problem. So first we need to head to sqlpractice.com. This is the website we will be working on or with. Then we need to select hospital DB. Then we need to click on view all questions, select difficulty medium, and we need to scroll down until we see the question which says for each doctor display their ID, full name, and the first and last admission date they attended. Then we need to get rid of this, and we can take a look at the tables. So we can see here an admissions table. If we click on the green arrow, we can see the rows inside and the name of the columns, etc. And also we can see the doctor's table. And if we click on the green arrow, we can see the information inside the doctor's table. If we click on expected output, we can see the output we should get after doing our query. And if we click on get it again, we can see some solution keywords. So these are the keywords suggested by the website we can use on our SQL code. And if we click on solution portion, we can also get some portion of the solution, so you can see some lines of code so that we can get an idea on how to approach and solve this problem. Okay, but now let's do it together. But first, I encourage you to try it on your own. And if you are stuck or you don't know how to approach it, or if you don't know how to continue, or if you do it and you did it correctly and you want to compare it with my solution, you can resume the video and we can do it together. Okay, so let's read the problem. So for each doctor, display their ID, full name, and the first and last admission date they attended. Okay, so let's break it down. First, it says for each doctor, they display their ID, full name, and the first and last admission date they attend. Okay, so first, display their ID. So we can begin by doing that. For each doctor, display their ID. So in the doctors table, I have a doctor ID column, so I'm going to use that. Select doctor ID and the full name. So there is no full name column, but a first name and last name, so I need to concat that. Use the concat function to combine the first name and the last name. So I need to say concat first name, comma. I need to give an space, comma, last name. And I'm going to give an alias as full name. And okay, if I just run this query from doctors, oh sorry, I forgot to place a comma here. Okay, I get the doctor ID and the full name of that doctor. But then it says, and the first and last admission date they attended. So the admission dates are inside the admissions table. So now I need to combine these two tables in order to get that information. So how are we going to do that? Okay, we have with a foreign key and a primary key. So in the admissions table, we have an attending doctor's ID, attending doctor ID, which is a foreign key. You can see that is we have like a silver key. So that means that it's referring to another column in the doctor's table. So the column it's referring to is the primary key in the doctor's table, which is doctor ID. So I can do that and join those two together. So I need to join the admissions table on, and I'm going to give an alias to these two tables so that it's easier for me to referring to them later. On A admissions dot attending doctor ID equals D dot doctor ID. Okay, so I'm doing that, and I hope you can see everything. Oops. Okay, so now what we are going to do, it's the following. We now join the two tables, but we still need to find the first and the last admission date they attended. So to do that, I need to show in the expected output. I need to show the first admission date in a column and the last admission date in another column. So I need to get back to the select part of the query, and I need to select the like it's shown here, the first admission date. Okay, so the first admission date is the earliest admission date. So in this case, I need to use the min and admission date. And this is going to show, sorry, I forgot to place a comma. Okay, so this is going to show the minimum or the earliest admission date. But why is it only showing one? Because I need to group everything. I need to group by, and I need to group by the doctor ID and the full name. So in that case, it's going to return the minimum admission date for every doctor. So you can see this is the the earliest they uh, gave an admission to a patient, and I can give an alias to this as first admission date, but I also need to show the last admission date. So to do that, I can use the max admission date, give an alias as last admission date. And now if I run this query, we should get the correct answer. So as you can see, we got it correctly. It was a little bit long, but doing it step by step, trying to understand the problem and all the steps involved, that will give us more understanding of the problem, and we can enhance our problem solving skills. So if you find this video useful, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, my name is Juan Martinez. I am a data analyst, and in this video we are going to solve an intermediate level SQL problem. So in this case, we need to enter the SQLpractice.com website. This is where we are going to solve this problem, and you can use this website to practice your SQL skills. So we need to then select the hospital DB, and we need to click on view all questions. We need to select difficulty medium, and then we need to scroll down until we find a question which says display the total amount of patients for each province, order by descending. So if we do that, we can see the question. So now we need to select this, erase it, and we can take a look at the tables. So we have a patients table, which has information about patients inside a hospital, and province names table, which has information about provinces. So in the patients table, we have, if we click on the green arrow, we can see the rows, and the same in province name. Also, we can take a look at the expected output. So you can see this is the output we should get after doing our after querying. So we have a province name and patient count. Also, we click on get hint again, we can see the solution keywords. So these are the statements or the clauses the website is suggesting us to use in our SQL code. And we can also, if we click on get hint again, we can see a portion of the solution. So you can see some lines of code just to give us an idea on how to approach and solve this problem. Okay, so I encourage you to first do it on your own, and then we can compare it. And if you are stuck or you are not able to do it, or you get confused or whatever, you can resume the video and we can do it together step by step. Okay, so first we need to understand the problem. So I'll read the question again. It says, display the total amount of patients for each province, order by descending. Okay, so let's begin breaking it down. So it says display the total amount of patients. Okay, so to show the total amount of patients, I need to use the select statement, and I need to need a count. I'm going to count everything, and from patients. So if I run that, I can get the count of everything. But if instead I use do count patient ID, okay, I'll get the same. But if I do instead count distinct patient ID, I get how many patients I have in this table, in the patients table. So as you can see, group by patient ID. Okay, so you can see we have 4,530 patients, but those need to be split on each province. Okay, because every patient come from a different province. As you can see here, they have a province ID associated with them. So instead of doing this, I just need to also select the province name. I'm just going to copy paste this, and now I need to select the table from patients. I'm going to give an alias as PA, but as you can see, there are no province name in the patients table. Instead, the province name it's in the province names table. So I need to join these two tables together. And how am I going to do that? With a foreign key. So as you can see in the patients table, we have a province ID, which is a foreign key referring to the province ID, which is a primary key in the province names table. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to join the province names table. I'll give it an alias on. Okay, maybe I can do it here. On patients dot province ID equals province names dot province ID. Okay, we have done that, and now we need to group, because we are doing a count. We need to group by the province name. Okay, I'm just going to do this just to make sure that we are referring to the province name in the province names table. And if I run this query, you can see I have an error. Oh yeah, because I forgot to place the comma here. And now you can see that we have the name of the province and how many patients came from that specific province. And I can also give an alias here to the count as count patients or num of patients. Okay, but then we are not done yet, because it says order by descending. So we need to order by descending. Okay, we are not sure if it's like in the by descending in the using the province name column or the count column or the num patients column. But as if we see the expected output, it seems that it's descending by the patient column. See, we need to order by or sort by the patient count column, because we have a like the biggest number here and then 60, 49, and it's dropping down. So we need to order by the number of patients, okay, which was the count of everything in descending order. So if I just format this and run the query, you can see that we got everything correct. Okay, so just to summarize, we selected the province name, which is here, and we count everything, and we gave it an alias. We selected that from the patients table, but we needed to join the province names table. We selected the province ID as a common key between those two tables. We grouped by the province name, and we order by the number of patients. So this is our result, and you can see it's pretty similar to the solution provided by the website. So if you find this video useful, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, my name is Juan Martinez. I am a data analyst, and in this video I'm going to make a tutorial on how to solve an intermediate level SQL problem. Okay, so let's begin. We need to head to sqlpractice.com. This is the website we will be working in. And then we need to select hospital DB because we will be working with hospital data. And then we need to click on view all questions. We need to select difficulty medium. And then we need to scroll down until we see the question which says, for every admission, display the patient's full name, their admission diagnosis, etc. So we select that one, and we can take a look at the tables. So we have 3 tables in this occasion: the patient's table, admissions table, and doctor's table. So the patient's table has information about patients who were attended in a hospital. The admissions table has information about the date of when the patients went to the hospital, when they arrived and when they left, and what was the diagnosis and who attended them, which doctor. And in the doctor's table, we have information about the doctors, their name and their specialty. So now I can get rid of this, and we can take a look at the expected output. So you can see this is the expected output. This is what we should get after doing our query code, after running it. And if I click on get hint again, I can see the solution keywords the website is suggesting us to use. And if I click on get hint one more time, I can get a portion of the solution. So it's showing us some lines of code just to give us an idea on how to approach and solve this problem. Okay, so try to read the problem and try to solve it on your own, and then we can compare it together. And if you are stuck, or if you don't know how to continue, or if you are unable to solve the problem, we can do it together step by step. Okay, so now I'm going to read the question. So it says, for every admission, display the patient's full name, their admission diagnosis, and their doctor's full name who diagnosed their problem. Okay, so let's break it down. First, it says display, okay, for every admission, display the patient's full name. So we need to select, and the patient's full name, there is not a full name column in the patient's table, but we have first name and last name. So we need to concat that and combine those 2 columns. So I'm going to be doing the concat. I'm going to be using the concat function, and inside parentheses I'm going to type first name, comma, and space inside double quotes, and last name. Okay, so that's going to give me the full name. So if I just do this and if I run the query, I will get the full name. I can give an alias as full name, and then I need to display the admission diagnosis. So there is no information about the admission diagnosis in the patient's table, but in the admissions table. So we can see we have a diagnosis column here. So I'm going to join those 2, join admissions on. Okay, so before proceeding, I'm going to give an alias to each table so that it's easier to refer to those later. Also, I'm going to do the same here so that we make sure that we are referring to the first name and last name of patients and not of doctors, because as you can see in the doctors table we have also a first name column and a last name column. Okay, so now I need to select the common key to join these two tables. So as you can see, in patients table and in the admissions table we have in common the patient ID. Patient ID is a foreign key which references the patient ID in the patients table. So I'm going to use that, pa.patient ID equals add dot patient ID. Okay, so then so now I need to show the admission diagnosis. So here, if I come back to the select statement, I can use, I forgot to, just a reminder, I forgot to place a comma, so don't forget to place a comma. I need to select the diagnosis. So I'm going to just do AD, which is the admissions table, diagnosis. So it's a good practice when we are dealing with multiple tables and we are joining them, just to give an alias, maybe 2 or 3 letters, and every column that we are selecting, also we need to specify from which table we are pulling, or we want to pull that column. Okay, so I'm doing that. We have the diagnosis and the doctor's full name, who diagnosed the problem. Okay, so if I just run this, I get the full name of the patient and the diagnosis. And now I need the doctor's full name. So I'm going to use comma. I need to concat. Okay, but before doing that, since the doctor's names are not in either the patient's table or the admissions table, I need to pull that from the doctor's table. So I need to join as well the doctor table, and I need to also do that. So okay, so I need to join that as well. So I'm going to do also join doctors. I'm going to give an alias do on, and what is common between doctor's table and admissions table is the attending doctor ID and doctor ID. So I'm going to do that on the o dot doctor ID equals add dot attending doctor ID. Okay, so now I can concat the o referring to the doctor's table dot first name comma space comma the o dot last name. So if I don't specify from which table I'm pulling these columns, the website and SQL won't know from which table, if it's from the patient's table or the doctor's table. And I can give this patient's full name and doctor full name. So I'm going to zoom out so that you can see better the code. So I'm doing this, and if I run this, you can see that we got it correct. So we got our patient's full name, the diagnosis, and the doctor's full name, who gave that diagnosis to the patient. And you can compare it with the solution provided by the website. And it was a little bit difficult, but we did it step by step. And if you find this video useful, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, in this video we are going to solve an intermediate level SQL problem. Okay, so let's begin. First we need to head to sqlpractice.com. This is the website we'll be working in. And then we need to select the hospital.db because we are working with hospital data. Then we need to click on view all questions. We need to select difficulty medium, and we scroll down until we see the one which says display the number of duplicate patients based on their first name and last name. Example, a patient with an identical name can be considered a duplicate. We select that one, we get rid of this. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that you can see it better. And we can take a look at the table, the patients table, and if we click on the green arrow, we can see the rows inside and the data. And also we can see the expected output. So you can see we have a first name, last name, and number of duplicates. Okay, we get that. If we click on get hint again, we can see some keywords, keywords to use on SQL to solve this problem. And if we click on get hint one more time, we can see a portion of the solution. So you can see the group by, and this is just to give us an idea on how to solve the problem. Okay, so I encourage you to do it on your own, and if you want to do it with me, or if you are stuck doing it by your own, we can do it. We can solve this problem together. Okay, so let's begin. So first we need to understand the problem. So it says display the number of duplicate patients based on their first name and last name. Okay, so how are we going to do this? So first we need to begin by using the select statement, and we need to display the number of duplicate patients. So for that I need to use the count everything, and I can give an alias as num duplicates. I need to specify from which table, in this case from the patients table. And if we take a look at the expected output, also says that we need to show the first name and last name. So I'm going to do that in the select statement. Select first name, comma, and last name. So then I need to okay, if I run this, we get the following: a first name, a last name, and the number of all patients. Okay, because I haven't done I am not done yet. We need to group by first name and last name. Okay, so if we do this, instead of just getting one row, we'll get multiple, and it's going to count how many times first name and last name appeared in the database. So as you can see, these are the people and how many times they appeared. But we have a problem, because you can see that there are people who only appeared once, and we are counting those as well, but we want only to count the people who appeared twice or more times in the table. So for example, if I try to scroll, there will be people who appeared twice. For example, if I say where first name equals, I don't know, Avon. Okay, Avon Holroyd, which is not here. Okay, it's not here because it didn't appear once but twice. Avon Travis. Oh yeah, Avon Travis. Yeah, we can see that she or he, I don't know, appeared twice. As you can see, num duplicates is number 2. Or if we say doll and we run, okay, we got 2 people. Dol Forelli, which is the name as the same as Dol Forelli here, and you can see that this person appeared also twice. So now, so we only want to show those who have number 2 in this column or more. So to do that, I need to get rid of this, and then I need to do the following. I need to filter by with the having clause and having count everything greater than 1. So if I run this, I get the exact solution. So you can see that now we get only those people who appeared twice in the table, and we can see the solution provided by the website, and we can compare it with ours. So you can see it's pretty similar, if not the same. Okay, so if you find this video useful, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, my name is Juan Martinez. I am a data analyst, and in this video we are going to solve together an intermediate level SQL problem. Okay, so first we need to head to this website, sqlpractice.com. Then we need to click on Hospital DB. After that, we need to click on View All Questions. We need to select difficulty medium, and we need to scroll down until the last one. So we'll do this one. Then we need to get rid of this. We select that and erase it, and then we can read the question. So it says, display patient's full name, height in the units feet rounded to 1 decimal, weight in the unit pounds rounded to 0 decimals, birth date, gender non-abbreviated, and convert cm to feet by dividing by 30.48, and convert kilograms or kg to pounds by multiplying by 2.205. Okay, so it's quite long. So before doing that, we can take a look at the table, the patient's table. So you can see the columns, and if we click on the green arrow, we can see the rows inside. So this is all information about patients inside a hospital. And if we click on get hint again, we can take a look at the solution keywords. So these are just some keywords we can use to solve this problem. And if we click on get hint one last time, we can get a portion of the solution. So you can see it's quite long, the SQL code, but here is showing us some lines of code so that we can get an idea on how to solve it. Okay, so with this in mind, we can begin solving it together. Okay, so first of all, we need to understand the problem. That's the first and most important step. So first it says, I'm going to read the question again. It says, display patient's full name. Okay, so we can begin by doing that. Select, and the patient's name, we don't have a full name, but instead we have a first name and last name, so we need to combine those two. Select concat first name, comma, space, comma, last name. Okay, what else? Display patient's full name, and then the height in the units feet. Okay, so before doing that, I need to select the table so that we can get every so we can get everything step by step. So if I run this, I just getting the full name. I'm going to give an alias as full name. Okay, so we get that. Okay, so then we need to get the height in the units feet rounded to 1 decimal. Okay, so what does this mean? Okay, so we need to get the height of every patient in in the units feet rounded to 1 decimal. So it's going to be just, for example, 10.5 or 20 0.3, something like that. So only rounded to one decimal. Okay, so where is the height in the table? The height is in the height column. So I can select that height, but it says, okay, if I just run this, it's going to give me the height, the number 156, 185, etc. But it says that we need to get this height in feet. So I believe the height it's already in the table, could be in inches. I'm not sure because I'm not from I use the metric system. So maybe, or maybe no, I think maybe this is centimeters. 194 centimeters, 220 centimeters. Yeah, I think. Oh, these are very tall people. 190, 157. Okay, we don't know, but it says we can convert cm. Okay, yeah, maybe it's centimeters to feet by dividing by 30.48. So we need to convert the height from centimeters to feet by dividing by 30.48. If I run that, I get the calculation, but as you can see, we get so many decimals. So to avoid that and to follow the instructions, to only show one decimal, I need to use the round function, and I just need to place this inside a parenthesis, and after doing the calculation I need to place a comma and a number to say SQL that I just want to place one decimal. So this number is going to be the number of decimals. So if I run this, now I get the number in feet and only one decimal after the dot. Okay, I can give an alias to this as height, height feet. Okay, I run this and it's okay, looks better. And then it says that you need to display the weight in the unit pounds rounded to zero decimals. So I just need to also show the weight, and if I just leave it like this, I can see that the weight seems to be in kilograms. Okay, yeah, it's in kilograms, but I need to convert it to pounds. So how are we going to do that? By multiplying these numbers by 2.205. So I need to do the same. Weight multiplied by or times 2.205. If I do this, I get the calculation. So if you see, if you saw Donald Waterfield was like 60 something kilograms, but multiplied by 2.205, we get 143. But then it says that we need to show it with zero decimals. So I need to use the round function again, and inside parentheses I place the calculation, I give a comma, and I'll type the number of decimals I want to show. So in this case, only 0, because I don't want to show any decimals whatsoever. So I can give an alias to this, like weight pounds. Okay, if I run this, I'll get the weight in pounds and without decimals. Okay, so we are done with this. Now we need to show the birth date Also the birth date, it's the column is here, so it's already giving us the name of the column, and we need the gender. So gender, the gender information is in the gender column. So if I select only gender and if I run this, okay, we get the birth date and the gender, but this is the incorrect solution. We thought that we are done, but we are not done, because it says gender has to be non-abbreviated, and instead we have gender as an abbreviation. It is either M or F, but instead we want it to be, like in the expected output, male or female in uppercase. So how are we going to do that? Okay, we need to do that, we need to use the case statement. So this is going to allow us to give a value to each row in a column if they meet a certain criteria. So in this case, I'm going to say case if. So this is going to work like the if statement in any other programming language. So case, it's like if gender equals, for example, M. So if we have the value M, okay, text M in the gender column, then replace it with male. Okay. Otherwise, how was that? Then male. Okay, else female. Okay, this is going to work because we only have two genders, so it's like a binary optional, M or F, 0, 1. So in this case, if in the gender column we have M as a value, then replace it with male. If there is another value, replace it with female. We can end this case as gender. I'm going to do this, and here, okay, I can do this, but what if we have two or more values in the gender column? Okay, instead I can do the following. That's a good practice. Gender equals M, then male. Gender equals F, then female. Sorry, I forgot to place when, because this is like the if. When gender equals M, then male, and when gender equals F, then female. And the case statement, and name the column as gender. So if we do this, we should get it correct. Okay, so as you can see, it was a little bit long, but we got the query correct. Like I said, in the case statement, when we are replacing one value with another following certain criteria, in this case we could get rid of this line of code and instead use like the solution provided by the website. When gender equals M, then male, else female. Okay, but just in case that we have only two values, it's a binary option, and it's going to save time, but it's always a good practice to also do this in case that we get more than two values. Okay, so if you find this video useful, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one.